I love building.
Yeah.
Like I get excited I'm lucky. I get excited to go to work.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you come from building in Nanaimo and then you go to build in Ucluelet and you get 13 feet of rain a year, you change how you do things.
Yeah, I bet.
Right? And Neil and I are working on this house and our tool belts are overflowing with water. The freaking local guys were still working, right?
And you're like,
Peter and his crew, I can't leave until they leave. We built a place for him and then he spent a winter here.
Oh, wow.
And next thing you know, the place is up for sale, right? Working with the clients that whatever you had in front of you on day one.
Right. Yeah.
The client shows up at 3 and goes, oh, we moved the bed. Can you move the skylight? Trying to design this thing that I can get it done in seconds. And
I can see where this is going.
And look really cool.
Hey everybody, this is Better Building with Buck. Today here I have Jamie Carson with Icon Developments. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to build on the West Coast and what the advantages are, what disadvantages are, and then also be asking Jamie about how he got into the industry and things like that. So
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
Yeah.
So how did you get into construction? What did that look like when you...
Yeah, it was... Right out of school, I went off to university and realized that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I got fortunate enough to be working with a friend of my dad's.
Okay.
Building their house.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it. And
Cool.
then so from there, I pursued a career in it, getting my apprenticeship, and basically jumped right into my own company at 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
so were you always on the West Coast? Or like...
No, I started in Nanaimo.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been on the West Coast now for 25 years.
Sweet.
So in Ucluelet for 25 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're 22. At what point right out of high school you started your
I joined the Carpenters Union right out of high school after my failing university career of 3 months.
Well, that's fair.
I went down and joined the Carpenters Union.
Okay.
I berated them every Friday until they finally took me on.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I did my apprenticeship through them. And then once I had my ticket, I went off on my own. My
Cool.
parents had a cool little piece of property at Salmon Beach.
Okay.
And we were out there just building what we coined a shabin. So you were allowed 400 square foot sheds,
Okay.
but you weren't allowed a cabin,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So we would make these sheds livable.
Oh, okay.
Hence
Wow.
the word shabin.
Yeah.
Right? It was a little joke.
Yeah.
And so...
Like a 2-story kind of thing?
No, it was always... Yeah, some of them had a loft.
Okay, loft,
right?
yeah.
And we attached them right up against campers, right?
Okay.
And then put a roof over them. It was really cool, actually. And that's where, when you talk about remotely, that's where it started.
Right.
Mixing my own concrete. I had this beast of a white truck. I used to go down the back logging road. I would fill it up with Navy Jack pretty much.
Yeah.
Right? And then I would go and pump water from a well. And then I would take your type 10 cement, and then I would sit there with a generator and a cement mixer and mix all my own concrete.
Wow.
I wasn't smart enough to know I could have just called a concrete company and they could have brought it out for me.
And when you start out too, you think like, oh, maybe this is saving somebody some money too.
Totally. Yeah, you're so naive that way, right? You're always thinking that you're saving them money, but you're killing yourself, right? Yeah. So I did that for years, but that really honed the remoteness of knowing that you had to have your orders perfect.
Right.
Because if you were short 1 2x4, you're an hour or so to get into Ucluelet to buy some materials, right? So you were on it.
And how is Ucluelet for like being able to get majority of the materials that you're looking for?
It's easy. We've got Windsor Plywood in Ucluelet.
Yeah.
Owned by Ken, and he's been on it ever since. He was the manager originally, and kind of as my career took off, he ended up buying the store.
Oh, okay, cool.
Became the owner, and he recently just bought Port Alberni.
Oh.
But also Slag Lumber moved out to Tofino.
Okay.
So between the two of them, now keeping in mind, they don't have a big yard. Right. So if you have to be on top of it because they get deliveries once a week.
Right.
Right. So if you miss that delivery, you're going home.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just a little bit of a shorter week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of planning, and that's a part of the whole remote thing, but you get good at it.
Yeah, that's
right?
fair.
Yeah.
So you started your company at 22.
Yeah.
And what kind of projects were you starting out doing? Like you had the shabins?
I ended up out at Salmon Beach.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking composting toilets, well water.
Okay.
And then I met my wife, who was from Germany.
Oh, nice.
And I brought her, she came out, and I'm like, okay, it's time to go to civilization.
Right.
And I'm going to scare everybody here. But I was able to buy my first piece of property in Ucluelet for $30,000.
Oh.
Yeah, the good old days. Yeah. Right? And a buddy who I went to school with, Brian Peterson, he was living there at the time. I was actually out of Nanaimo at the time.
Okay. So you're driving?
No, well, so at that point I moved in with my buddy, Brian, and I was going to be a spec home in Ucluelet, just so we were into, you know, more civilization instead of being out at Salmon Beach.
Right.
And we never left. We just found so many amazing people there and young entrepreneurs that were starting, you know, Tim Ward starting his electrical company, you know, plumbers starting out. And so there was a whole group of us in our 20s. Ken had just bought Windsor Plywood. And so we just kind of meshed together.
Oh,
right?
good.
And we all kind of built our companies together.
Nice.
There was only one other builder in Ucluelet at the time.
Wow.
So I took on that spec home. And then from there, I landed a contract to build a house and then never turned away.
Oh, nice.
Raised my kids there. And I can think of a better place.
And how old are your kids?
So my oldest is 18. He's done now. He's graduated.
Yeah.
Well, in a week or two.
Yeah.
And my youngest is 16, and he'll be done in a couple of years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I just poked on your YouTube there. I saw that you followed me, and then so who was the young? There was a young boy you were doing soccer with.
Oh, yeah, that's my son. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a COVID thing.
Oh, okay.
We were trying to keep the team motivated.
Yeah.
So I decided I don't know how to play soccer.
Yeah.
First of all. But nobody else would step up to the plate, and that meant either the kids would have a team or wouldn't have a team.
Okay.
So I took on the coaching role.
Oh, nice.
And took some courses and all that, and then my son and I put together a couple of videos just to try and keep the team motivated.
Oh, good.
When we couldn't be together.
Yeah.
Right? But I look at that and I'm like, oh God.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, you haven't. That's
we were
the
just
thing.
trying.
Yeah.
We were just having fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Sweet. So you've been building some beautiful projects here for some time now, and like, what are the things that when you think of something that gets you excited about a project, what does that look like? Like if.
Wow. Yeah. I like different.
Different. Okay.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I've had the pleasure is working in Ucluelet. Most of my projects are one-offs, obviously. Most of them high-end customs with crazy ideas, crazy designs. And, you know, we have the rugged West Coast to deal with. And most of my homes are waterfront homes. So like on that channel, there's an icon one. You can actually see the NAMI project, which people I found out have heard about because they're into social media and they cater to the yoga group, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they always have social influencers there.
Oh, cool.
Staying for free. And I didn't even realize it had that many following. But on one of my videos, you can actually see what we have to deal with the rock and everything.
Right on.
Clients, that's the key, right? If you have a bad client, ruins the whole project. But I've been lucky. I have built over 50 houses for Ucluelet.
Wow.
By myself.
Yeah.
And I've only had one. I would say that was a bad client, made me want to quit.
Right.
All the other ones have been really cool. And that to me is fun.
And like, I think you've shared with me that there's a lot of self-performing that you've done in the past. And like, what does that look like as far as...
What do you mean by that?
Like your team actually doing the work or
gotcha.
you personally being the person that's putting the sticks into place to...
Yeah, well, that's, you know, when you live in a remote community like that, you know, your work field, like who you can pick from there's not a lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm not the easiest guy to work for either. I have high expectations, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's funny. Like I always considered myself, I found a notepad.
Okay.
During COVID, I actually found a notepad, which was from 25 years ago when I started Icon Developments. I actually started off as Carson Custom Contracting.
Okay.
Right? And then somebody else had it.
Oh.
A guy in Northfield had it. Right? So I came up with Icon Developments, which was actually a short form of Island Custom Design.
Okay.
Right? And I had written a little mission statement, and I had found that book. And
That's
it was
exciting.
actually saying my goal was to become a custom, like, boutique builder. So you'll go into some of our homes, and a lot of people don't realize that is I'm on the tools. We do everything from all the foundation to actually building furniture for clients.
cool.
So I've always had a big shop.
Yeah.
So on some of our, like the Ayers project, for example, from 2010, you look through those photos and you look at all this cut, because that house was all blue sky architecture, it was all curved. So I had to custom build them a curved front door.
Wow.
I had to build them a custom curved fireplace out of concrete, right? Those are the cool jobs.
Yeah.
Where,
That's exciting.
Can you do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we're going to figure out how to do it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we just trained ourselves to do everything because you didn't have a lot of people to pick from out there. So I found myself, not anymore, but doing the flooring.
Right.
I don't do carpet, but all the hardwood, tiling, trimming out the houses.
Right.
And we basically touch every part of it. That's changing now as I'm getting older. I don't want to take it all on.
Well,
right. And there's more people to pick from, and more people
that's
are
good.
traveling,
Yeah.
coming from out of town, right? Because I love coming out to the West Coast.
right. So does that make it, I guess that kind of coincides with busy building season, kind of, that summer rush of people gives you that opportunity to have a little bit more picking of if it works out with
Yeah.
schedule, I guess that is.
Yeah, well, it's 24/7 there, 12 months of the year, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny when you come from building in Nanaimo and then you go to build in Ucluelet and you get 13 feet of rain a year, you change how you do things.
Yeah, I bet.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, people are coming out all the time. Our tourist season's busy. So, it's making it hard to find places for trades to stay.
Oh, okay.
So you'll find that we have a good talent pool in Ucluelet now.
Yeah.
But if I do need someone from out of town, you got to plan ahead.
Right.
You got to book places, right? We work with Daryl Morrison out of Vancouver, does our micro cement.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's amazing. So we always have to book him like 6 months in advance to make sure he has a place.
So are we thinking like a Venetian plaster? Is that kind of?
Similar, but
Okay.
they're using a lot more epoxy-based stuff. It's
Okay.
bulletproof.
Oh, cool.
Same concept. Though,
Okay.
Right?
Same,
Yeah.
same
Technique,
this
yeah.
technique and
Yeah.
level of finish.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I follow this guy, Brent Hall, and he did this house and the whole house in this Venetian plaster.
Yeah.
And it's got like a Spanish revival home. And so the house looked like it was like 150 years old, even though he just finished building it.
Cool.
Super cool. I'll show it to you at some point. But yeah, it's I've never seen much of that actually installed. I've never seen.
Yeah, well, the
that
owners
technique.
of the NAMI project are actually originally from Portugal,
Oh, okay.
and so there it's a dime a dozen.
Right.
Everybody's doing
That's the
it.
standard.
Yeah, it's like $4 a square foot. You just do it in all
Right.
the bathrooms. So that was my first introduction to it, and we were put in contact with this Daryl and Creative Concepts, and man, it is a neat product.
Yeah.
Like, we did all the bathrooms, like right from the floors, right into the showers.
Oh, nice.
And it's bulletproof, and you just wipe it down and off you go.
And so, as far as your prep going into that, like as far as like getting walls flat and stuff like that, is it similar to mud where you're kind of feathering it out and getting it?
No real prep. You just
Okay.
put on a cement board, and he deals with all of it.
Oh, okay, cool.
They waterproof it
Yeah.
first, right?
Okay,
And then they put this on, which is a waterproofing also.
right.
Yeah.
So you got the belt and suspenders there, kind of.
Yeah,
Idea.
totally. Yeah.
Cool. When you were thinking about building on the West Coast and thinking about this water that you talk about, the water management must be so high level on your construction details.
Yeah, you got to prepare pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The one project you can see on the YouTube channel, we because we have to, building on rock, we got to dig it right down, and we had a 14-foot hole. That's where we found the bottom of the rock on the water, right?
Wow.
And I would say the world's most expensive foundation because we buried it. But there was a point there where we did not think to put a knockout at the bottom. And at one point there was, 6 feet of water in there.
Wow.
Right. So we had to set up all the scaffolding to get above the water. And then eventually we pumped it out and drilled a hole through. Right.
Right.
But yeah, if you're not thinking about these things, like we're building swimming pools, right? Until the
Yeah.
foundation is backfilled.
Right.
But yeah, that was funny. I remember the very first house I built for a client, and there was only one other builder, like I said before. His name was Peter Stade, Sound Design. And Neil and I are working on this house, and our tool belts are overflowing with water. And Neil's looking at me like, "What are we doing? Let's go home."
Yeah.
The freaking local guys were still working, right?
And you're like,
Peter and his crew, I can't leave until they leave. And those guys never left. And I was just like, okay, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
But you got to get used to it. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it was hilarious. I left and went to Australia and worked there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I brought rain gear. And the crew there just laughed at me.
You're
I
not
was
going to
like,
need
no,
this.
No. If it rains, you're going straight to the pub. And I said, in Ucluelet, we all have 2 to 3 sets of rain gear.
Right.
We do.
Yeah.
When we keep them all when on a rainy day. Because we all know, the minute you go to lift your arm up to do anything,
Yeah.
you're just flooded, right?
Yeah.
So we're like duct taping things off. And yeah, it's...
You might as well be on a fishing boat.
It's true, right? Like when we were doing the Tim Todd's project, we went 2.5 months of rain.
Oh.
And it got to a point.
Debilitating?
It did, actually.
Yeah.
It actually got to a point where the whole crew, we took a week off.
Yeah.
Just so everyone could kind of
Get some morale.
vitamin D or something, right?
Yeah.
Like it can be depressing. You'll find you get a lot of people coming to the West Coast. They got the best intentions, and after 2 months like that,
Yeah.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Right? They're gone. They can't handle it anymore, right? So you definitely can tell who's going to keep around and who isn't, right?
Right.
Once they've been through a couple months like that.
And how often do you think when people are making their way out there that's happening? Like 2 out of 10?
I don't think anyone truly understands how much it can rain.
So you think it's higher than that? Like
Yeah, I think-
50% or higher?
You're keen, you're coming out, we mostly get the surfing crowd, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful place too, right? I know we had a client, he came out, went for a run, and it was beautiful. The whole week he was there was beautiful. And so we bought a waterfront piece of property, we built a place for him, and then he spent a winter here.
Oh, wow.
And next thing you know, the place is up for sale, right? It's just, he couldn't handle it, right? They're jumping on a plane to go down to Dubai or somewhere just to get out of the wet, cold, numbing
Yeah.
West Coast climate, right?
Yeah.
It's fun when you're inside, right? And you can look out, and get the big storms, and you put your hand up against the glass and it's pulsating. Those days are fun,
Yeah.
right? But when you got to be outside working in it, that's when you're like, I got to find some office work to do.
Yeah. No,
Boys, you're in charge. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I got some office work to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about your crew, usually, like, what do you fluctuate between on your team?
Typically 2 or 3 guys.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah. When we were taking on a couple of, I had a growth period where I had 20 guys.
Okay.
Like I had decided to take Icon to a different level. Getting frustrated with trades out there and stuff, I created my own plumbing department, my own electrical department. I bought a gutter machine, I bought a mini excavator, and brought on a whole bunch of people.
Right.
But it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I don't like that side of the business, right?
Essentially just an
Yeah,
HR.
Yeah, totally, right?
That's
and
all it
I would
was.
rather just be on the tools. And when you have that much overhead, you have to take on that more work to offset all that overhead.
Right.
And your profit margins aren't going up,
Right.
Because you have more overhead.
Right.
So it was the key point to get back to where I wanted to be, which is like a boutique builder. Just myself, a couple of guys, focusing on one-offs, picking and choosing.
Right.
Right. And so then I got rid of all that. And so now it's just myself. My wife runs my office.
Nice.
And at this point, there's just 2 guys that I work with. And that's it.
And then as far as design goes, are you mostly working with architects or like architectural CAD technicians or?
Yeah, crazy. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
That's okay.
Sorry about that. I have built 50 houses in Ucluelet, and I think I've only worked with 3 architects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always been designers, we'll call them.
Yeah.
Nectar Design, for example. Jennifer, she lived out in Tofino.
Okay.
And she's done tons of my houses.
Oh.
And these are not just simple houses either. Like these are full-on one-offs, right? But it just, when you're doing those type, you get a good rapport with your clients. You basically have a guideline, I like to call it.
Right.
And then working with the clients that whatever you had in front of you on day one
Right.
is gone, right? By the time you're done the project, it develops as you go, right?
Yeah.
Which can be hard. The last one we just built, the Musa project, that was the first time I had a professional team.
Okay.
So 25 years, and I had this big team. So I had an architect team. I had an interior design firm that presented me with an 85-page booklet, right down to what a doorstop was going to be, like what to buy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is either going to go really well, or it's going to go really bad.
Yeah, that's a fair way to look at it.
Yeah, because now you don't have an excuse to screw up.
Right.
Because they gave you all the information.
Right.
Where on these other projects, if something gets delayed, it's because you weren't given any information. You have to wait for that information.
Right.
And it was amazing how well the team worked.
Oh, good.
Right? And good communication. Yeah, it was. Normally sometimes you get the contract, the architect, and the interior design, and there's going to be some headbutting there. Yeah. No, everyone worked really well. So that was really
And who
cool.
put that team together? Was it you or the customer? The
Customer.
Okay.
Yeah, the customer had already worked with all of these entities. I was the new person.
Yeah.
And and he's used to it. He's got a large company. He's mostly in commercial side of things, but so it was kind of a commercial feel to a residential home.
Okay.
And that's the one that we just won all those awards for, right?
Nice.
Yeah. But no, he had the team. He's worked with these guys for 20 plus years. So I was just the newbie, and luckily I got along with everyone.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It
Sweet.
was good.
Yeah. So that you would say that was a great experience then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're friends to this day, right?
Oh.
All of us, we still talk.
And then going into that, like, what do you think the advantages and disadvantages of having like a an architectural driven plan, and then now reflecting on it compared to the designer style plan, where now you're between, you had your 80 pages compared to your 3 or 4 pages, and what do you think was the advantages and disadvantages?
Yeah. So going into it was nerve-wracking.
Right.
Because what if you don't get along with the architect or the interior designer they seem to have made up their mind, this is the way it's going to be.
Right.
So yeah, I was a little hesitant at first, but then realizing all of them were open to communication and they respected my experience on the West Coast.
Right.
So we had envelope engineers involved, all those people involved, and they actually would listen to my experience on the West Coast on how I would do certain details due to that 13 feet of rain.
Right.
And what I was used to.
Yeah.
And it's a process, because when you're working 12 months of the year and those rains are coming, right? Then you want to develop a certain process to make sure that you keep the house as dry as possible.
Right.
And the whole team was open to that. Now you go back to a design one where you're basically given an idea.
Yeah.
And then most of my clients are not around, right?
I remember you sharing that with me before.
Yeah. And so now you're like, you're on a Zoom call, and it's like, okay, by the way, I've gotten to this hurdle. What do you want to do?
Right.
And luckily, a lot of them trust my ideas,
right,
and my experience. But it can get very frustrating too, where you don't know what you're supposed to do next week because the clients can't make up their mind,
I see.
Or they don't even know how to get there because it wasn't actually designed for that purpose, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to have those on-site meetings where you're like, you could go this route or this route, right? And then you got to go back, redesign. Where I will say with this architectural side of things, when we had that full team, every detail was worked out. It was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool.
When you think about the freedom that you had, there's obviously the advantages and disadvantages when you're having to think through all these details. So do you think that when you got to the end of the project that you felt more or less fulfilled in the overall design because of the input that you maybe had on one project to the next?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. I think so, yeah, because I can honestly say, out of those 50 houses, almost 100% of them have been fulfilling, right?
Okay.
It's in different ways.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we're in construction. We're frustrated as hell. It's so funny. Like it's always based on the client, though. If you're getting good feedback from your client, you're getting good communication from your client.
Yeah.
They respect the fact that we've got hurdles to jump through because they went that route of not having all the details worked out before they go, right? Before they start the project. And if you're getting that good communication, then great. But when you are building a project, and I won't name the project, and the clients are, not around, and they pop in, and like, nah, I don't like the front of the house anymore. Let's rebuild it.
Right.
So you're tearing down your work.
Yes, debilitating.
And then you have a discussion with them, and they like, okay, this is what we want, art lights. And then they show up and they don't remember that they wanted art lights, they wanted pot lights. So now your electrician's ripping everything out, right? This approach that I'm talking about, that went on for 3 years.
Right.
And I wasn't kidding. Like we had a whole house built. And
a couple times over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that became very tiresome.
Yeah.
Because in a way we're artists.
Right.
We are. We're creative.
I hear that.
We're,
Appreciate that
like,
too.
it's like you're not doing it because you want to run a company.
Yeah.
You're doing it because you enjoy building.
Yeah.
I love building.
Yeah.
Like I get excited. I'm lucky. I get excited to go to work.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
People think I'm a freak. I'll be laying in bed excited about what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're going to go to work and you don't know if you're tearing down what you did, it becomes a little depressing. But we get that project done, and the clients were very honest with me. And it's like, hey, we respect you. This is our decisions.
Right.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So that's a good thing. But when the client blames you for that, right?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
And that wears on you.
Right.
And it wears on you emotionally.
Yeah.
Because I wear my heart on my sleeve and I bring it to everything I do.
Yeah.
And so if you're not getting that respect, then it becomes hard.
Right.
But so going back to your question about design over architect, if that design and you're working with that client and they're respecting you, and at the end of the day, everyone's smiling, yeah, it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I was just thinking about that because like for you, when you don't have, well, you're like, your team's a little smaller. So having to like negotiate through all these details can get cumbersome, and like also having to get all of the work into play. There's only so many hours in a day. And so like, I could imagine when, you've got another 3 bodies looking at you and you're going, okay, well, we're waiting for an answer. What can we do here? And there's kind of like this little bit of make work, or kind of like less productivity than maybe you'd had hoped in your mind for the day because you're waiting on things.
But that is part of the growth of a company or myself.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
aware of the fact that those things are going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have what I call, my French, the shit list.
Right.
That's what I call it. And it's normally a Sharpie on between 2 studs,
Yeah.
a piece of plywood, right?
Yeah.
Where I will create what we humorously call the shit list.
Right.
And so I will always have a list of jobs on there that my guys can just go do while they're waiting.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right? So it might even be like we didn't finish nailing off the side of a house or something, like, or whatever. That's a dumb example, but
no,
or you got to tape off the windows, or whatever.
Yeah.
If there's something we can move forward on, that production is happening.
Yeah.
And there's like your drywall backing,
Right.
your A35s,
Yeah.
the jobs we hate doing.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do them all right off the bat because of the fact if you the client's going to make a change.
Yeah.
Okay. So while I'm dealing with that, you guys can go do the drywall backing, do your A35s, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of how I developed my company, was to have multiple tasks and processes that can occur so that there's no downtime.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting piece of feedback. Yeah. Cause I was just thinking about like, when you're kind of in this more isolated environment, and then also having to deal with that, but then not knowing what that next piece of the puzzle is, kind of like makes that stewing pot of chaos just a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Because you're going, okay, well, we had the material here to do this next week of work, but now we've changed it, and so now you're doing a lot more pivoting than maybe you'd hope hoped or wanted to.
We had a client show up on a Thursday, and we had already framed this cabin.
Okay.
And the client went in and said, "Oh, can we put a skylight over the bed?"
Right.
And not a small one. Like, we'd have to remove a ceiling joist, right? A truss.
Yeah.
Because it was a flat roof. And we'd already sided the outside. So it was like a 3-foot deep truss.
Oh,
right?
right.
Just
Yeah.
flat roof. And so I gave the truss company a call, and I was like, "Hey, can I cut out this one truss to give a skylight right here for my client?"
Right.
Right? And he's like, "Yeah, you can actually, but you got to get a couple LVLs in there to support the one you're cutting out."
Right.
So I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, "Okay, wow, I got it. We're just gonna pull the siding off the side of the roof,
Yeah.
cut a little square out.
Yeah.
We move the drywall from the inside so we can see where we're doing our skylight. Slide in the 2 LVLs, nail them off. Boom! By the time the clients get there on Monday, they're gonna have a skylight." It was like an IKEA assembly, right? So that's how excited I get. I'm spending my whole weekend trying to design this thing that I can get it done in seconds. And
I can see where this is going.
And look really cool. So Alex and I, we freaking peppered that off. It took us till about 2 o'clock on a Monday.
Yeah.
The client shows up at 3 and goes, "Oh, we moved the bed. Can you move the skylight?" Right? And that was just, Alex just dropped his tool belt and he walked away, and I just started laughing. I go, "Oh, you got a sense of humor." And he goes, "No, I'm serious. Like, we're going to move this again." And so we had, at that point, now that we had already damaged the truss package based on it, now we had to tear it all out and actually rebuild the whole roof to make it work for 6 inches.
Oh,
Right?
Jesus.
And I was like, "Why don't you just leave it?" And it was like, yeah, no, that was a good story. That was a good one. That
Yeah.
actually was a moment where an employee I thought was going to quit.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what drove him insane, was all these changes, and then that one after we had created it so quickly, right?
Yeah, and because both of you guys would have had such a sense of accomplishment in solving this design constraint, and then to then hear that, you're now having to change this thing that you both felt so rewarded in getting completed.
The key would have been not to be so efficient and good at it. Make the job last 2 days so that the client would have had time to get there to tell you that they didn't want to move. They wanted to move it somewhere else for the 3rd time, right? That's what happens when you try and be really good at it, right? That's key to all you kids out there. Don't do well.
Oh, man. Oh, no, that's a good story. Do you have anything else that you might want to share today, Jamie?
I'm here for you.
That was I was really happy for what you shared, and I think that it was a good insight about what kind of building on the West Coast looks like, and kind of some of those constraints that you have. And I liked how you shared about how the different kind of approaches that you can do with a set of plans, and kind of understanding that an architectural driven set has many pages compared to a designer set that's just 5 to 10 pages, and how much unknown is actually from one set to the other, and how much detail a builder actually needs to get to a point where he can build a house, and somebody has to take control of that and understand what that project is going to look like.
And it's always been that way. I'm just so used to it. Like, I've had plans come to me on, what is legal size, 11 by 17?
Yeah.
That's a whole set of house plans.
Right.
Here's 5 pages, Jamie, go for it. Right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was normal.
Right.
Until I got this architectural set.
Yeah.
Died and went to heaven. All right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
It was fun.
Bye for now. Nice.